Figure it out. Hey guys, we are live. It's been a couple of more than a week. I've been traveling the road. Uh, Anthony's been playing golf. Got a new truck. So hey, dominate your life. Today is I kind of said we didn't know what we were talking about, but today was like wake up. For me, it's like just wake up. Period. I had posted, and today I'm gonna try to do no profanity. So that's see how long that takes. But is I had posted like the biggest threat to America, probably the world is, but the biggest threat to America is the media and how it's controlled, but how it's just controlling like just the average person. So I guess the only thing you should be watching is Anthony and Brian's podcast on educating you. But I want to talk about that. Anthony got a new truck. I want to talk about that. Anthony, what do you I mean, you text me, you want to talk about something, that people were running away from something?
Yeah, we talked about it last week, when we were trying to figure out things to talk about, but it's adversity in sales. Like whenever you come up against any kind of pushback or any kind of difficulty in a prospect, it's just it blows me away to see everybody in the comments section like run away, they're not your client. And I'm like, man, you guys leave so much money on the table. It's incredible.
So we're gonna be talking about that. Say hi, man. Just ask us some questions. Tell us which way you want us to go. A handful of people are watching it. I had dinner with Bob Donnell. His daughter used to live in Boise near Anthony. We were talking about you a little bit, Anthony. So because I know you guys met.
You were talking with Bob just a minute ago, or you are?
Yeah, I spent the night up in Pismo Beach, California, where he lives. I made a point to stay there, so we went to dinner. But so I don't know. So let's talk about the big truck you just bought, and then I'll talk about my trip a little bit, and then we'll get into all the other stuff.
Oh man, you're already trying to get me to go back on the no swearing, man. Yeah, no, I just
that truck is beautiful, man. It's like, that truck looks like something out of Yellowstone, the TV show.
It's pretty fun, man. It was a nice purchase. I had a few of my subcontractors. One of them yesterday said, "Well, I'm glad you finally decided to be a man." He goes, "Why'd you get a 3500?"
Yeah,
said, because I wanted it. That's why.
Yeah.
And then the other one, what are you going to tow with it? My big ass ego, my tiny little.
I needed a 3500. Have you seen what I'm carrying? It is, man. I like it. When you sent me the pictures, I was like, doggone, are you thinking about getting it? You already got it? Like, hey, did the company buy it or did you buy it?
Oh yeah, no, it's the company's.
Did the company lease it or did you buy it?
No, it's purchasing it. So
are you? Good for you.
Yeah. No, I that Lexus I was driving was nice. I mean, it had nice shiny wheels on it, and it was pretty. But I'm gonna have to go up to McCall here shortly on a regular basis up in the mountains.
Yeah,
and that Lexus just wasn't gonna cut it.
Yeah,
man, and I certainly wasn't gonna trade that Lexus down. That's for sure.
Years ago, one of the guys I worked with when I was a kid, or worked for, he had a nice size company, and he used to drive around and do estimates in his Corvette. Kerry Conley, American Hardwood Floors, and he was one of the first guys that I had met that he really did kind of sit me down. We'd go to lunch and he talked to me about business, because again, I was dumb as dirt, and he graduated with a MBA from Chicago, and I'm like, man, what's an MBA? And he's like, master's in business. I'm like, what the hell? I was like, it's just I was dumb as dirt. And he's like, yeah. And I said, well, how'd you end up doing floors? Because I'm thinking, man, were you on your hands and knees? You knocking boards? You sanding? And he's laughing. He's like, no, I got my MBA from whatever university in Chicago, and didn't want to live in Chicago because of the winters. Moved out to California, and then started looking around at all the business opportunities, what he wanted to apply his knowledge to. And that just blew me away, that someone could be in a business that he didn't even have a clue what the hell he was doing when it came to the trade part. And he's like, nah, I don't do it. It's like, man, I got you. I got you and 30 other guys like you that are doing all the work. And I was like, wow. And so it was a whole bunch of meeting guys like that and being open enough to listen to, what they were doing, that again, we talked about last week, when the student's ready, the teacher appears type of thing. And then like, you're that big truck. I worked for another guy that when cell phones first started, came out, they weren't called cell phones, they were car phones. Everybody,
Right.
if you were rich enough, you had money, you got a car phone. And you needed it because the damn thing had to be connected to your car battery. That's like, if you watch what is it? What was it with Mel Gibson and those guys in Lethal Weapon? And
Yeah.
Danny Glover's on the bridge, and he's got that big ass battery, and he's calling in talking about this dude is crazy. But that's the battery that you had. So these car phones were connected, and there was a dude that had a big cool truck. So his car phone was hooked up to his battery, but the ringer was hooked up to his horn. So he'd be inside doing whatever, checking shit, looking at blueprints, and if his phone rang, the horn would start beeping, and he'd go out and answer it. And then it was like, man, well, how much is that? And it was like, back then it was like a crazy price. But he goes, yeah, but I answer the phone. They're calling my competition. My competition is waiting to get back to the office, and then they're going to go through all the list of. Because that's what I was doing. You had a pager, and you'd ask the homeowners, could you use their phone to call in your pager and punch in your code and listen, and then maybe call. But like, he was answering the phone, man, I'm right here. And like, the homeowners loved that crap, man. It was worth every penny and it was a tax write-off. That's what people don't get. What's up, Big Anthony?
Yeah, man, that's crazy too. Like, there's a lot of guys out there who, they don't answer the phone because, it's at 99 out of 900 times it's some spam caller or somebody asking them to be on top page of the Google. But at the end of the day, there's so many ways around that. And if that's the only people calling your phone, then you got bigger problems than scammers,
Yeah, and they're relentless. I mean, they still call us, and I use what converts, so I'm tracking the calls for a lot of different contractors. So I'm always watching, and it's always Yelp or Angie's Angie's is great for like, hey, just got a lot of people, got a lot of homeowners wanting to get their kitchen remodeled. Anthony, can you use some more business? I need to be able to send these people somewhere. And I'm reading this and listening to it, and I'm like, oh my God, you're just relentless.
No, I don't. I can't use any of your leads, but I got a bunch of these smaller leads that I got no use for. You want to buy them?
You want to buy these? Man, so next week, we're gonna hopefully I think the guy will show up, and
so he's coming. He's coming on.
He's coming on. He says he is. He says he's gonna bring like all these clients that he helps, and I said, man, bring them all. I'll listen to all of them. I have no. I mean, I wish I could find, for your sake, for my daughter's sake, for all the contractors that I know, I wish someone had a magic pill and they can get you 50 new leads every day that were guaranteed to already say yes, no matter how much you charge. All the BS that these guys freaking, tell you, because it ain't like that. So it's just and I'm looking for the day, but if someone's got the guts to come on and try to sell me on it and let me grill them, and you'll be here to laugh and grill them and go, dude. I mean, so if they got the guts to come on and sell it, good for him. And again, it's like, I wish they could come on and prove me wrong. I tell my daughter would be the first one to sign up for the damn service. 20 new phone calls a day that are guaranteed to say yes, no matter what you're charging. Well, like, who wouldn't? So,
and that's the thing, kind of going back to that, is like, if you are spending money on a service like that, and I think you said it best to me years ago, man. You're like, if you should learn how to do, your own marketing, so that at least when you are ready to hire that out, what to look for and how to oversee it. You know what I'm saying?
You don't have to do it, but you better know what they're doing so they don't rake you over the coals and take advantage of you. And then JB said, who we're talking about?
Who is this guy?
Some guy in a hardwood floor group.
Oh, that big hardwood floor group?
Yeah, but and he did. I seen his ads just popped up, so I did the screenshots. And like I said before, the first ad I seen, he was selling a franchise, like joining into his partnership. And like there's no overhead. You didn't need any equipment. All you needed was a phone and a laser to measure. Not even a tape measure. He's way up. I mean, he's past tape measures. You needed a laser measure and a notebook. That's all you needed, was a laser measuring thing, a notebook, and a cell phone. And he can, with his system, you can be making money and hire all these guys to do all the work. And so I was like, oh my God, what's he sell? How much is that? And then a day went by, and then I see his ad selling the hardwood floor guys or flooring guys leads. And that's when I took the screenshot and posted it in one of these groups that I'm in. I'm like, all I can say is, wow. Unfortunately, somebody's giving him money. And the guy reached out to me, messaging me like, dude, don't be talking bad. I'm like, dude, I don't know. He goes, I looked at your Facebook page. You seem like an okay guy. And I'm like, I am. I said, I'm sure you're a great guy. I said, my job is to protect contractors. Your job is to get money from them. It's like, remember the old cartoon, the sheep dog and the wolf?
Yeah.
And the sheep is like they're best friends until they clock in, and then he starts pounding him. He's like, and his whole thing is how to get the sheep, and the dog is like kicking his ass, and it's like the horn blows. It's the day's over. See you tomorrow, Fred. Okay, click, click. They clock out and go home. They're friends. I was like, I got nothing against you. It's like, it's business. I said. He goes, what makes you think blah blah blah? This ain't going to work? And I was like, because I've been doing this for 40 years. I've built and sold different companies. I'm still helping other guys do the companies. If there was an easier way, I'd be doing it. I'd be helping my guys doing it. There ain't no easy bullet in business. It's there's some certain principles that always work. They're like the laws of gravity or the laws of the universe. Like gravity is one of them. You can do them over and over again. You get almost the same result. Anyone that tries to sell you that magic pill is blowing air up your skirt or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely takes more than being a cool guy, a couple of
yeah. It was like, shit, I don't know. But just got home, playing golf tomorrow. Went up to Washington State.
I was Kelso.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It's like so green, just beautiful. But man, just met a lot of great guys. We probably had almost probably 20 guys there, a couple of girls, 4 hours of street realistic self-defense. And it's always fun because most of these guys have been doing it. A couple of them have been doing it longer than me. I was just fortunate enough to train with some guys who taught me a different way to do things. And these guys are all like, oh my God. And I'm like, dude, I didn't make it up. I wish I made it up. I ain't that smart. Someone showed me, I'm showing you. It's just an easier way, and then different philosophies, but had a barbecue afterwards. It was a lot of fun. And then we took PCH pretty much, or Interstate 101 and one. We just came down the coast we were in Washington State, drove straight over, take the bridge into what is it? Astoria, right there for the Goonies. Yeah. And then all the way down, we just cruised, and then we got tired. We grabbed a hotel and got up the next day, did it. And
it's crazy there because you get the current of the Columbia River meeting the current of the ocean right there at the bridge. And
damn it, because I don't think I've ever seen. I don't know if I guess I've seen Columbia because we've been to Astoria before, but damn, the Columbia River's big. And then like this dude right here, I made sure that we stopped in Pismo Beach, had dinner with Bob. We went to a nice Italian restaurant. Talked about you a little bit.
You were talking about me. All good things, I'm sure.
It was all great. It was like, because it was like I said, we're doing this podcast. We can't even come up with a name of it. And here I am. Yeah. I've been ranting and raving. I'm trying not to use the profanity. And I know, like, because outside of this podcast, you do a lot of stuff that's sometimes it's controversial. But you get to walk your talk, because like nobody can call you on your BS because you're living it. And that's what I was telling Bob. I said, man, I like doing this podcast with Anthony because he's using everything that I've used for 40 years, and it's working for him. So nobody people can look at me and go, oh, well, you're doing this or that, and like you're old, or you did that used to work. And I'm like, no, man, Anthony's in the trenches every day, signing big deals, buying big trucks, carrying big packages, climbing big mountains. So they may be able to argue with me a little bit, but definitely not with Anthony.
I mean, you can call me arrogant, you can call me egotistical, you can call me any name out of the book, but what you can't call me is a quitter.
Or broke.
There's a couple of people who've tried to say that too, man.
so I don't know and so I posted, so to get your feedback on this, is I posted one of the biggest challenges, one of the biggest detriments, one of the biggest things to America is, I feel, is the media, and it's all areas of the media. And it just, the more I think about it and sit around and meditate on it, it just gets overwhelming. It gets bigger and bigger. And I had typed in here today, is like, wake up, because it's. And I told Bob, I said, Bob, I'm gonna be. I said, Bob, this is gonna be on the podcast. And he started laughing because I used the word retard, and you're not supposed to use retard anymore. My wife tells me, my kids tell me, Brian, you can't say retard. That's worse than the F bomb. I was like, what? But we're feeding that, like 97% of the population, not just in America, but the population is just letting the media. And when I say media, I mean television shows. I mean all of it. Radio news, songs, all of it. The stuff that's coming in. You're being bombarded all day long. You really don't even realize it. And unfortunately, we're being fed this retardedness, this just stuff just coming in that's no good. And if you're just putting nothing but retarded stuff in, and I'm going to stop using that word in a second, but if that's all you're putting in, how can you expect anything else to come out? You know what I'm saying? It's just that
garbage in, garbage out.
Yep. Yeah, you've got to be so aware of what it is that you're. I watched one of Bob's podcast today. It wasn't even a podcast, it's just a live Facebook thing, because I sit there and listen to Bob all day long, because he's just talking good stuff, and that's what I want. If I'm not listening to Bob or PDB, Patrick David Bad, or just old Jim Rohn stuff, it's just I'm feeding myself good stuff all the time, and I'm paying attention to what's coming in. I don't turn it off, because I need to see what I need to battle for other people. I'm like, hey, dude, what are you watching? Like, no, I've seen that. Here's what's really going on. Here's this. Here's the behind the scenes. This, all of it, whether it's business, whether it's political, whether it's religion-wise. It's just, you've got to limit what you're intaking. But more than that is, you got to pay attention to what's coming in, and where it's the neurons that are firing off in your brain, and where it's getting stored, and what that means. Because every second of the day, you're forming new habits. You're always forming new habits. You're either reinforcing the habits that you have, or you're changing slowly. The wife, we sit down yesterday, watch television. The wife puts on some show, I think it's Netflix, but it's called Fit to Fat to Fit. She turns it on. I'm like, if you want to watch this, I'll watch it. I'm sitting here just trying to relax from the long drive anyway. So she pushes play and goes and starts talking to my daughter for 2 hours. And I was too lazy to get up and grab the remote. So I watched this damn show. And it's these, personal trainers, super, super fit. They've been super fit their whole life, and they're going to be working with someone. The episode I watched, this dude's like 400 some pounds, wants to lose over 100 pounds. So this personal trainer can't relate to him. So for 4 months, all he does is eat as much as he can. And his goal is to gain 60 pounds of fat in 4 months. And he gained 62 pounds or something. And then him and this dude that he's going to be training, they're going to work it out together. They're going to he can relate to this overweight dude. And so everybody's crying and they're happy at the end of it and all the other stuff. And I'm like, dude, go back to the dude that lost 100 pounds. Go back 3 years from now and watch how he's regained 150. Look at all the biggest loser people, contestants who lose all the weight. Every day you have to change that habit. Every day you have to, every second of the day, every minute of the day, you have to reinforce who you want to be. There is no you turn it on, turn it off, any of that stuff. And no, just because this dude spent 4 months eating in and out and donuts, gaining 60 pounds, he does not relate to this guy who's 400 pounds, because this guy grew up that way, man. His whole life has been not eating for a week, losing 10 pounds, and then going to whatever the fad diet is of the time. Every year he's trying 3 to 5 new ones, loses 10 pounds, gains 12. Loses 15 pounds, gains 20. And just the emotional roller. I mean, all of it. You don't because these trainers, this one episode was like, he was so happy at the end of it, of the 4 months, because now he could get in there and start losing it. Because that's his mindset. And that's how he is. It's just, I'm telling you, I wish if there was a magic pill, if there was something easy we could do, I would be selling it. I'd be buying it. There isn't. It's every day I get up and struggle with it. And I'm saying this because I got a clip going around where I use more profanity talking about fat people than I wish I used the profanity. But and it sounds like I hate fat people, and that's not it. It's the fact that I know, because I've been overweight my entire life. Every day I have to deal with it. Every day I have to say no to the donut. Every day I have to say, I know I don't want to work out. I don't want to work out anyway, because I need to be the best that I can be. That's who I am. And if I'm not the best that I can be, there's no way I can ask someone to be the best that they can be. It's like, well, why ain't you doing it, Brian? Because I'm going to ask you, Anthony, to be the best Anthony can be. Be the best Anthony business owner Anthony can be. Be the best man that Anthony can be. Lead by example. And if I'm sitting here asking you to be and do all of that, I better be doing it. So I'm saying I got to say no to the junk food. I got to say yes to the workout. I've got to get up. I got to do it. It's like all of that stuff. And it ain't easy. I'm telling you, to say that it's easy, like it just, someone's lying. Someone's lying to you. If they lie about that, they'll lie about other stuff. So I'm telling you, I struggle with it. And I know that when you are 20 pounds, 50 pounds, and today it's on average, I would say the majority of people are anywhere from 50 to 75 pounds overweight, and they think they're 15 pounds overweight. No, you don't need to lose 15 pounds. You need to lose 55 pounds. No one's telling you the truth. It's like, but that's the truth.
That is kind of that agenda that the media pushes as well too.
And that's the problem.
All part of it anyway.
No, that's the whole wake up thing. That's the whole media is we're being bombarded with BS, and they're turning us into their slaves and letting everybody think that it's okay to be average. And it's not. It just isn't. And to walk around, I know where you are mentally, because I've walked around there. I'm there every day. I'm telling you, every day I have to fight it. And when you're that overweight, 20 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, it ain't the same. It's like Bob is still here. One of our buddies did a post the other day talking about being fit. Does it make you a better salesperson? And he says no, because the sales comes down to this or that. But if you're in shape and that makes you feel better, yeah. And I was like, yeah, I agree with everything except. And it's the except part was, I know that when you're 50 pounds to 75 pounds overweight, you're not in the shape that you could be. And if you're not in the shape that you should be, is like you're not firing on all cylinders. And that's what I talked about, when the highlights with all the cursing is, there's no way you can reach enlightenment being overweight, because you're just not going to be firing on all the cylinders. You're not going to be getting the oxygen to the brain. You're not going to be able to think fast enough. You're not going to be able to work out problems. You're not going to be able to handle stress. All of it. Everything is connected to everything. I don't know. What thoughts on that? The whole wake up, the whole media, not just the overweight, but just how, if you're not paying attention to what's going in, how are you going to be paying attention to what's coming out, your results? What do you think, Anthony?
It's really quite simple. I mean, ultimately, if it were easy, everybody would be doing it, right? And so the difficulty in something is what brings the value, And we talk about how, everyone always likes to say, well, I don't care what other people think. I don't care. Well, we all know that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I got to watch my cussing too, man. Anyways, no, we all know it's, that you absolutely have to care what other people think. It's like, does being fit help you in sales? Well, yes, it does, because when you got a strong body, you got a strong mind. When you have a strong mind, you have confidence. And when you are selling something to somebody else, all you are doing is transferring that certainty to them. And if you aren't certain, then you've got no business asking them to be so as well. I mean, the value in anything in life, whether it's a fit body or whether it's a successful business, anything comes from the difficulty. If six-pack abs were easy, everybody would have them and they wouldn't be valuable.
Yeah, if you could buy them on the shelf, you'd buy them.
Yeah. I mean, there's some problems you just can't throw money at and solve. You have to actually, become that person. It's like, like we look at, like you were talking about earlier, the guy who goes around to all his jobs with his Corvette, right?
Yeah.
I want to send all my guys out to jobs with wrapped Rolls Royces, man. That's my goal, right? like Bentleys and stuff, man. But ultimately, it's not about the Bentley.
Yeah.
It's about the man or the person you have to become in order to obtain those things, right?
Yeah.
You don't just wake up in the morning and go, oh, I'd like to go get a Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
I mean, you go through a series of metamorphosis to become that person, and it's not just about the money. It's about who you are deep down inside. It's like we can give you've heard the saying, take all the money in the world, spread it out evenly to everybody. It's not going to be about a year later before everyone who had it all
going to end
before.
up, yeah.
Yeah.
And because Jim Rohn used to say is like, I wish for all of you, to earn $1 million, and not so that you have $1 million, but because of the person that you have to become to earn that $1 million. And when the first time I heard him say it, I was like, man, what the heck does that mean? I kept thinking about it. And then it dawned on me. It made sense. Like you just said, it's like, it's the person that you have to become to make and earn the money to be able to buy the Rolls Royce. You just don't get to wake up one day. It's just because if you're given it, like the lottery winners, you can win the money. The money's just given to you, but it's most of them end up broke in a matter of years, sometimes even less. So it's who you have to become to get to that part. It's who you have to become to say no to the donut, to say yes to the working out, even when you're tired, even when you don't want to do it. It's that self-discipline. You can't just give someone self-esteem. You can't just because you give them a trophy to make them feel better. You didn't help them. You ended up hurting them. And that's what this whole media. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say just a real quick. The defining line between being average, like average and greatness, ultimately is like being versus becoming.
Yeah.
Somebody who's average, they're just happy with being who they are. They have no desire, right? If you want to become great, you have to become more than average, right?
Yeah.
And this whole thing of like, well, what's the average going rate, or what's the average? Well, it sounds like you're looking for something average, and that's not what I do.
Yeah. And then so it's like, so the media, so the government, I don't know, just even the school systems with the kids, what they're teaching and stuff. It's like they're slowly brainwashing and turning everyone into slaves. I don't know. It's like Andrew Tate told a great story that was a study was done with these 5 monkeys. So they put 5 monkeys in a cage, and there's a rope dangling down in the cage, and there's a banana at the top of the rope. So every time a monkey would try to climb up and grab the banana, they would spray all of the monkeys with this higher pressure hose. So everybody would fall down, they'd wait, another monkey would try it, everybody would get sprayed with the hose. Mm-hmm. So pretty soon the monkeys realize is like, hey man, every time one of us get on this rope, everybody is getting sprayed. So it's not just the guy, it's not just the monkey getting on the rope, they're spraying all of us. So one monkey would get on the rope, try to climb up and get the banana. The other 4 monkeys would grab him, start pounding him and teaching him the lesson. Don't get on that rope. So that went on. Now a monkey climbed the rope. All 4 of them would grab it and pull him off, beat him a little bit. So now they take one of the monkeys out, put in a new monkey. The new monkey sees the rope, tries to climb up, get the banana. The other 4 monkeys grab him, start beating him. We don't want to be sprayed. So they, over a period of time, all of the original monkeys were out of the cage. It was all new monkeys, no water being sprayed. But because they had all been programmed, someone touches like the society around us would, is starting to, anytime you try to climb out of the cage, climb up and get the rope, society, the media, what we're being taught is everyone is beating us down. Like, no, we know what's going to happen. It's like, and we're not paying attention. It is. And we're not paying attention to what's going in and who we are becoming. And it probably drives me more insane than anything.
The thing about that too, Brian, is people are so quick to point the finger. It's George Soros, or it's Bill Gates. It's what's his name with the pedophile island. These are bad people. Don't get me wrong, but here's the truth. The reality is that most of the pedophiles in this world aren't rich billionaires on private islands with jets, right? Mm-hmm. There's a whole lot more of these people who are broke rednecks and down under in Texas. It's like it's incredible how, like, for the first time in history, the media actually used the whole COVID thing to give that average person, or that person who is unaccomplished, who they would have nothing else in life to feel accomplished about, or to be virtuous about other than this thing where they can lord it over everyone else. Like, you must wear your mask. You must wear your mask. Like, or if you don't wear your mask, you're a bad person. Right. That's now I have this moral high ground because I'm doing what I'm told. Right.
Yeah. And that's a great example of the whole monkey thing, because that COVID is like, man, you'd have the mask on. Everybody's pointing at everybody wanting to beat you up because you're not falling in line. You're not wearing the mask. You're not getting in line to get the shot. You know, it's like, and now they're all regretting it. And I get to stand on my high and mightier than thou and go, look at all my Facebook posts. I was right about I feel like Trump. I was right about everything from the beginning. It's like from day one, I kept arguing about all of it. And it's just it's crazy that we're not paying attention to it.
It's also the same thing too, you know, beyond just the media. You know, I mean, the media, I think, just kind of plays on what we convey to each other on a daily basis anyways, because like one of the biggest things that I see that we do to each other as a whole in a populace is like this whole idea that you shouldn't be confident, right? Because if you're confident, you're just an arrogant, egotistical, you know, ass or whatever, you know, and everyone's like, how dare you? I remember a couple of years ago, you know, I referred to myself as the best, and I can't forget what it was. I was some group on Facebook, and this lady started sending me private messages like, how dare you? How dare you? I'm like, no, how dare you not be the best? Like, well, if I'm the best, why can't you be the best? Like, do what you do. Like, that's it's a weird thing how most people don't want to see other people succeed.
Yeah, I've got videos all over the place. You know, because begging people, don't be humble. Just you know, be the bird that's floating your feathers. What's that bird with all the feathers?
Well, it says, you know, I mean, if you want to take that quote from the Bible, you know, for what it says, I mean, take it for what you will, but it says, you know, be humble before God.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't say be humble before men. It says be humble before God.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and you can take that however you want, but I mean, ultimately, you don't have to be, you know, horrible to people to just be real and to be firm. And it's just like, you know, people can't handle being, you know, it's like when you hold them accountable, that's a huge one right there. Holding people accountable, people hate when you do that. Like, no, see right here on this piece of paper that you signed, this is what we agreed on, and this is what we're doing. If you like something else, we can change that. But, you know, it's like, people hate being held accountable. And
that's my whole thing. Like, just, you know, I was doing the dominate your trade. I want to do dominate your life, whatever we end up calling this. But the whole thing is like, I don't feel like I'm doing enough. I'm getting older in life. I'm like, shit, when I'm gone, like I was up there teaching the karate. I'm like, dude, I can't take this knowledge with me. The only good that comes from the knowledge that I have is if I can share it with other people so that it continues when I'm gone. And that's with men. It's like, the podcast is for women because I want women to be with men. But the whole thing is like, we have lost what men are. Men are like, you know, and I guess everybody's like you said, everybody wants to point fingers at Soros and all these other guys, and the media is like, oh, they're trying to feminize us and they want to do this. I'm like, you're letting them. They can only do to you what you're letting them do. It's like, no, man, have some personal responsibility and just man up. Just man the F up. It's like
pointing the finger.
Yeah.
Pointing the finger of blame at them. They. Who's they?
Who are they?
We're they.
You're the only ones that are responsible for your actions. That's it. You can blame it on everything else, but you are responsible for your actions. Whether you like, and I say there's only three things we have total control over: what we do with our body, what we put in our body, and the thoughts that we dwell on. That's it. They don't get to control that. You know, it's like you have to get up and work out. You have to eat the right food at the right time. All of that stuff. You have to have the thought process. This whole act as you think is like real men don't get to be depressed. I don't even know if depression is real. It's like, yes, I mean, things have happened to me to where maybe I'm sad. I'm not as happy as I was, but you have to suck up and get over it. There's like,
it is
reborn man. There's certain things that you have to do. Getting some
feedback. It is true, man. You know, it is true that, you know, you can feel depressed about things, like bad stuff happens, right? And that sucks, but you still push through it anyways. And you still, you know, as a man, you still have to do what you have to do. You can't just say, oh, well, my girlfriend doesn't respect me, so I'm not going to respect me.
Yeah.
This happened, so I'm not going to go to the gym. You can't. The thing about it is, though, it's very true. It's very true. This whole concept of depression is this thing that you have to go. You're afflicted with like a disease, right?
Yeah.
And you have to go to the doctor. You have to get pills, and you have to be
Ugh.
codependent. And Andrew, I was listening to Andrew Tate this morning, actually, while I was working out, and he was talking about, hey, you know what? Robin Williams, for example, right? Well, Robin Williams is a prime example. He went to therapy for 10 years and they fed him psychotropic drugs and he killed himself, right? Had he'd gone in there and the therapist just told him like, hey man, listen, there are people out here in this world starving who can't, they're drinking out of mud puddles in Africa. You are Robin you're Robin Williams, man.
Yeah.
You need to wake up. You need to take your ass home and quit being such a
just man up. I'm telling you, it's like and it's funny you said it because I've said this forever with the mass shootings, and it's always these weirdo guys, men. Because my wife is like, how come women don't go crazy and start shooting people? It's like, I don't know. I was like, women don't have the stress, whatever. It doesn't matter. Men are here to protect women.
Was it the last one a woman who was pretending to be the man? Or
it was like I think it was. It's like, and then my wife was like, see, she starts thinking she's a man and she wants to shoot people. But so to hear Robert Kennedy, he's running for president right now. He's the anti-vaxxer, that dude. But because I've been saying it for years, I said, no, don't stop looking at the guns, start looking at the pharmaceutical drugs that these kids, these men are on. And he brought it up. So he was saying that the majority of all the shooters are on something like SSRI or some other psychedelic drug, or when they come off of it. And my sister that lives in Pocatello, they put her on depression medicine, and she took it for less than a week and threw the bottle away. And I was like, what? How come? She goes, oh my God. She goes, it was bad enough for me to be depressed and feel like I wanted to kill myself. But when I took these drugs, it made me feel like I wanted to kill everybody around me. And I was like, really? I said, it was good for you to know that and get rid of them. But yeah, it's like Charlie Brown, the cartoon. I used to have this drawing. I would show it different presentations, but it's Charlie Brown all slooped over with his shoulders and lumped down and this. And Lionel was asking him, what's going on? He goes, why are you standing like that? And he goes, oh, I'm depressed. He goes, the worst thing you can do when you're depressed is pull your shoulders back, hold your head up high, and stick out your chest. He goes, it ruins a good depression. And in the seminar, you have people do it. And it's like you tell someone with as an actor, I'm the director of the movie, action. Show me that you're depressed. And they all do that. They all have the same body language. And it's like, all right, show me that you're happy. And they all stand up straight. They hold their hands. Like, it's hard to be depressed when you're jogging or working out or walking around. You got the endorphins going. But it's hard to get up off the couch, get up out of bed, and get outside and start doing it. It's that fine line when you sit there and have that conversation with you and start making up excuses. Oh, well, this happened yesterday, or I got an earlier business meeting, so I better do this. It's like those are all excuses to keep you from doing what you should do. Get up, take action, get your day started going straight. Even if you can't do the whole 45-minute workout, give yourself a good 10, 15-minute workout. Get up out of bed, roll out of bed, fall on the floor, and don't get up until you did 10 push-ups. I mean, do that every day, and then turn it into 11 push-ups, and turn the 11 push-ups into 12 push-ups. Jim Rohn says, is 5 push-ups all you can do? It's like, no, because if you rest a little bit, you can do 5 more. And he goes, so you're doing 5 push-ups and you say, is that all you can do? And we can tell by the look on your face that, you're not lying. That's all you can do. But if you rest a little bit, you can do 5 more. And if you rest a little bit, you can do 5 more. And if you rest a little bit, you can do 10. It's like, do what you can, where you're at, and then just keep improving. But we have given in to people letting us know that it's okay to be average, letting people know that men have feelings.
Not only that,
control those feelings.
They're not just saying it's okay to be average. They're literally trying, like, these people want to convince you to be depressed, to be average. Like, adopt my thinking. You must adopt my thinking. You have to be miserable with me, right? And it's just like, why do I want to think like you? Like, if it's so bad, like, why would I want to adopt that?
Yeah.
Why would I want to be that person? Like, why would anybody want to be
Yeah.
that person? So it's just,
Uh,
it blows my mind.
Google it or look it up. But Anthony Robbins does a whole thing to where he says, good men, good fathers come to him, and they're all, like sad or whatever, and he feels bad for them. And it's because whether you like it or not, is if you do a good job, you don't even show up on the radar. Your own welfare. You're good. You're doing good. You don't even get to show up on the radar. But you're like, man, but I'm a good guy. I'm good at this. I was like, no, it just like Jim Rome would say, hey, I didn't invent the world. This is, you're welcome to Earth. These are the rules that we're dealt. So you got to do better than just good. You got to do great. And then if you do great and you're working hard and you're really great, you end up with good results. And you're like all frustrated going, man, why am I only getting good results? I'm a great person. I'm great this. And it's like, no, it's like, you got to do, better than great. You got to do awesome, so you take awesome and this and that, and you end up with just great results. You're always ending up one below. You got to be outstanding just to get excellent results. And then it's the peak, the higher you get up, it's just, and it ain't fair. And fair is where you go see the pigs. So get the hell over it. It ain't ever going to be fair. Work harder. People don't care. They shouldn't care. They got their own problems. They have their own struggles, but not being the man that you should. I'm telling you, if you're watching this and you're born with 2 balls and a dick, you're a man. You're gonna have problems. You've got to suck it up and carry the weight. Atlas Shrugged. Read the book. It's just we've got to be the example for these younger kids, this younger generation to follow. And right now, they don't have anything to follow except like Millen Bendaney, whatever the heck that dude's name is, on Bud Light, beer cans.
Oh yeah, Dylan something.
Yeah, but so this generation, my wife asks me all the time, man. There was a couple of 20-year-olds and 15-year-olds at the karate seminar I did. And I was impressed to see these guys, man. They were giving it air. They were some tough guys, and but there's just for the majority of young boys growing up, there's not enough example of what real men should be. Suck it up, do it anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, Steven, man, it's good to see you. As a matter of fact, I still do that. I had a golf tournament yesterday, and I sponsored a hole out there with my company, and the gals who ran the kiosk with me. And then afterwards I took the team out for some drinks, and I had a few too many, and I woke up at 3:45 this morning, hungover as all hell, did not want to go to the gym. And I went to the gym and I put in an hour, and then I drove all the way across town to kickboxing. As I was lacing up my shoes, I was like, oh my God, I think I'm gonna throw up. And I just kind of swallowed it and just started training. And after I was done training, man, I felt really good. And I went back and I put another hour in at the gym before I got my haircut. So yeah, every day.
So you and Bob got a haircut. Now I got to go get one. Because when I seen Bob the other night, he had long hair. He hadn't had a haircut in a year. And then I seen him today on on his Facebook Live, and it was all trimmed and neat and looking good. But yeah, so that's called paying the piper. I'm like, go have the drinks, man. But no, because I would be out with friends, and I didn't really drink that much. I'd have one or two, but just being up late, knowing that I got to get up at 4 a.m., and I'm like, damn, this is going to suck tomorrow. But never once did I think, oh, I'll just sleep in. It's like, no. If you want to stay out and hang with your buddies, you suck it up, get your ass up, and do what you're supposed to do. It's like you played, now pay.
Yeah, absolutely. That's having fun's hard work, man.
It is, but and there's nothing wrong with it. But be the example. We need more men to lead by example. One of the kids that's working for my daughter right now, he's a friend of one of her other friends, but he's 20. He turns 21 in like October. But he sent me a text. I was on the road. He goes, "Hey, when are you gonna be home? I want to sit down and talk to you about business."
Right on, Steven. Glad to hear that.
And so I said, yeah, so I should be home whatever day, but ended up being like a day extra. But he came over yesterday and we just sit. I was like, hey, man, what's going on? He's 20, but man, he's just hungry. He wants to do more, and he's working for us. But he was like, so he wants to start a car detailing business or like or pressure washing, but he just wants more. He's like, all his buddies go out drinking, and he's like, no, that's not for me, and like this, and I wish we had more like that. And so I gave him my book. I said, man, just read through this. This is going to get you help. This is going to get you started. Because in here, even it says, where do we start? And it says, start by being the best employee that you can be. Work your ass off, be appreciative that you got a job, and save up every penny so that when you venture out and start doing your own thing, you've saved up enough money. I've got videos saying it's like, look, if you don't have money to hire a marketing agency, you don't need to be starting a business. Go get a damn job, save up your money, learn how to, all that stuff. But I was telling that, but it was just, it gives me hope that there's someone out there. There's other young guys, young kids, 22, 27, that are like trying to lead by example, wanting to do more. And just, I don't know, like hopefully the podcast that we're doing, educating them, because how can I sit here and say, don't listen to the media, don't listen to this, don't listen to that. All they're doing is feeding you this BS. They're trying to keep you down, yet I ain't doing anything about it. That's why I want to do these podcasts. That's why I do my YouTube channel. It's like, I don't want to sit there and be one of the guys that all they do is complain about George Soros and the Bill Gateses of the world. It's like, no, man, it's like, lead by example, share, say, hey, I did this over the years. It worked. Here, use it, do it, take these actions, improve yourself, make the world a better place to be. I don't know.
Well, the thing is too, it's a weird world that we live in, because there really are, people up in the higher echelons of society that are doing bad things, and there are conspiracies, but it's like the conspiracy is ultimately, a lot of the conspiracies are actually true, right?
Yeah. They only last from something.
Well, they only last so long because, one, it's like the people who are involved in conspiracy either cut each other's throats, or they get, defeated by the other people who are conspiring against them as well, right? Because there's always two parties. I mean, you don't just conspire against nothing, right? So one party prevails and the other one, gets defeated, and this whole cycle goes around and around and around and around. And this is the world we live in, and that's in the macro. And here we are down here in the micro, just like tearing each other to shreds over it. It's like right, left, red, blue, rhinos, donkeys, a bunch of jackasses, all of us, really. So,
hey man, Steve said he lost 20 pounds intermittent fasting. Good for you, little brother. Said you're ready to the gym. And he said you're an inspiration, man. Keep it up, Steve. I'm almost 60, man. I'm doing over 100 push-ups every day. I'm getting up working my ass off. What do you mean? Anthony's a young dude. How's he inspiring you? But
it's good to be the young guy.
I guess. And that was when teaching karate. I was like I guess I was the middle guy. They had the younger generation, but then there was like the older dudes, and it was cool like to see some of the older guys shove the young guys out of the way because they wanted to see what I was doing and what I was teaching. One of them ended up getting choked out and kind of fell, hurt himself a little bit. And my wife was upset with me. I was like, I showed them how to do it. It's like, well, they can't be doing, you got to watch that business. I was like, hey. So there's always someone who doesn't think the choke thing works. But he thought it worked. He just, the way that they do it isn't the way that I did it. So he wanted to feel the difference. And by the time he was able to say he felt the difference, he was asleep and falling down. But he was like, "Oh my God, like that is different. That does work." So it was crazy. Hey, but I want to go back to Robert Kennedy talking about like the mass shootings. The majority of them were on some kind of pharmaceutical drug, and he brought up. I didn't know this, but he brought it up, and I had to Google it. Because we always hear like the Swiss have more guns per capita than America. And I thought, now I feel bad.
They're required. Every one of them is required to go through, I think, like 1 or 2 years of service.
Is that? Yes, I didn't know that. Because you always.
And then they have to keep their weapon, their service weapon on them. They take that home.
Because I thought America was like the gun crazy fanatics or whatever, and I don't think they have any mass shootings. But they don't have the pharmaceutical problem that we don't either. America and New Zealand are the only two countries that will let pharmaceutical companies run commercials, which is crazy. Because Big Pharma controls the government, when I don't know, because everybody says they, and even Andrew Tate talks about the matrix, but then when you ask them who they are, no one gives a definite answer. And I'm still trying to figure out who they are.
Well, I'll tell you who they are. They are those who own the banks, like the bigger banks, the reserve banks that are loaning governments money, right? And it's funny because everyone always talks about, the Federal Reserve. Well, the government regulates the Federal Reserve. No, that's wrong, right? The Federal Reserve regulates our government. Like our government borrows money from them at interest, which we are required to pay back. And that's the bottom line. So, and there's a lot of conspiracy theory rabbit holes I can go down on that. But at the end of the day, that's really the gist of the situation. So
I took a screenshot, and I don't know if I sent it to you or not. Doesn't look like I did, but it was the huge investment company. I think it's BlackRock started investing heavily into Bitcoin.
They started doing that. They started doing that a few months ago, actually. While they're telling you
not
that
to,
it's volatile and bad, you need to stay away. Stay away from it. It's bad. Who wants you overdosing on wealth now?
Yeah. Let us get it all. Oh my God. So I don't know.
Well, Jamie Wolf did the same thing. He was telling everybody, like, no, we don't invest in that stuff. It's bad. And the whole time they got portfolios that they're just pouring billions of dollars into,
Yeah.
And that's the thing with the media. If they're telling you that something is bad, you can almost rest assured that it's good.
Yeah.
Right?
So I was going to do a podcast just talking about relationships and women. Maybe I'll get Bob on here. And then business. I don't know where you want to go from here. What's on your mind? What was that you were talking about? The adversity and people running and not sticking it out. You texted me.
Yeah. So we, because I run the 208 contractors group. It's the largest contractor group here in Idaho. And I think I actually tagged you in that post. I can't remember if it was that one or another one, but it just cracks me up when, people have a little bit of adversity. Like, the client said they didn't like my price, right? And then so the whole comment section below is like, well, you got to run. Just run for the hills. Run away from that stuff. And it's just like, man, people are leaving so much money on the table. And it blows me away how people who own businesses don't realize that, it's their job is sales. Like everything is sales, whether you own a business or not, right?
Yeah.
You got a 2-year-old who wants dessert, but not his broccoli. You got to sell him on why he has to eat that broccoli, right? And it's not just because you're going to slap him upside the head. You got to get him to actually eat the broccoli. Yeah. You can't just beat him up. Right? But the thing is,
teach him to enjoy it.
Well, yeah, teach him. You got to understand how to overcome objections in sales, right? And that's what I see a lot of going. It's like, and it's not just my group. I see it in every group. Like, oh, there's a little bit of adversity with the client. Well, you got to run. Just run away. Like we can't handle adversity, And it's like when the client says, "Oh, that's really expensive." Like, yeah, it is expensive, but you know what? You're worth it. Like, oh, I got to talk to my wife. Hey, you know what the best way to overcome the surefire way to overcome the I got to talk to my wife about it objection is?
How's that?
Never meet with them without both decision makers present. So you solve that problem before it even happens, right? Or, if you understand what your system is and your process, you're talking to these people and they're like, yeah, well, I want to talk to other contractors. I want to talk to my wife. It's like, yeah, but does it make sense to you, right? You got to learn how to overcome those objections. And, it goes back to, average versus great. If that person called you, they're interested in purchasing something, whether it's from you or somebody else.
Yeah.
And if you know that you have the best product and you have the best service, then I feel like you're, ethically obligated to close that sale. And I think there's a lot of salesmen out there who think they're salesmen, but there's a huge difference between salesmen and closers. Mm-hmm. And the big distinction between a salesman and a closer is, well, there's two. The closer is not afraid and knows how to overcome objections. And the closer actually asks for the sale. Like, oh, you want to think about it? When should I follow up with you?
Yeah.
No, give me the deal. Like, what's the worst can happen, right?
Yeah.
Worst can happen that is I follow through in it and you're completely satisfied. If you're
Yeah.
not, then I won't stop until you are, right? If you're not 100% satisfied by the time I leave your house, the whole entire job is on me.
Yeah.
Free. Like, who's going to say no to that, right?
Yeah. And then just satisfy them.
Yeah, and then actually just do the job and don't leave. You know? Just hold them hostage in their own living room.
Yeah, I ain't leaving here till you're happy. That's how I got my wife. I ain't leaving here till you're happy. What do I need to do? It's like,
yeah, man.
You don't need to go out with anybody else. Only I can make you happy. It's like, What do you need? What do you do? Like, but because you see the whole price thing on every construction Facebook group.
How much y'all charging?
Yeah, how much is that? How much is it? It's like doesn't matter what I charge. You couldn't charge what I'm charging because you ain't me to begin with. Like, what do you is like? Who is? It goes back to who you are. I hope one day you can charge what I'm charging, not because of the money, but because of the person you need to become to charge what I'm charging. To become the bit. To charge what I'm charging, you have to become the business that I want that for you. I want that for all your clients.
And all they're really saying is you can't just charge that. You can't charge that. Nobody will pay that. All they're really saying is, I don't really believe in what I'm doing. I don't believe in me. That's all they're saying. They just, that client says that you're too expensive. Just run away from them anyways. Just run. Just walk from that job. Just give up. Just give up like a weak little. Try not to cuss for you.
No. I need you to keep me from doing it. Hey,
run away like a weak little bitch.
Yeah. When do you walk away?
When do I walk away? It's interesting you ask that question.
A contractor? Yeah.
When the client, maybe gouges your eyes out with a fork, it might be a good sign that it's time to walk away. So I got a sign on my office, right? It's the 3 didn'ts, and this is going to go on my new book that I'm writing. I haven't come up with a name yet for it, but the 3 didn't, and I'm copywriting this right now, internet. So this is mine. Are if you didn't collect a check and you didn't piss them off, then you didn't go far enough.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the bottom line. It's like, hey, you called me. I'm standing here because you called me. I didn't cold call you. I'm not in a boiler room, right? You called me because you want to buy what I sell. So why aren't you buying it? Well, the reason why you're not buying it is because I haven't given you enough certainty in why you should trust me, my company, and what my product.
Yeah.
And that it all boils down to that. And if you don't understand that, then every time you reach a tiny little objection from a client, you're just going to run for the hills, and you're never going to be great. You're not even going to be average.
Yeah. And but I don't want someone to hear this and say like, oh, okay, so Anthony's saying that if he gives them a price of $100,000 and they're like, no, I can only, I'm going to give you $60,000. You're taking it. You're not taking, you're not saying take the $60,000 when it's $100,000 project, right?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, how did that come across like that?
Because like some of these guys are like, they'll let the customer tell them what they're paying versus like, and that's how all these prices come up with like, oh, you're charging how much? You can't charge it. They're only paying this certain amount, and this is like, but when you're meeting with you have the confidence because you're the best, GM, the GC in Boise. You've got the best subs. You got the best, office warranty. Managers, you got them, all of that, everything is just warranted. Like you said, it's like you're not leaving until they're happy, not leaving. You're not going to finish until they're satisfied, 100%. And you know that if you're the best company, you're obligated, to close the deal. But at the same time, somewhere in your head, like in the art of the deal with Trump, he says that if you're not willing to walk away, you've already lost. Meaning, not that you're going to whine and walk away, but you know that you're the best they're ever going to get because you are the best. Yeah. It's like, look, the next contractor, any other contractor that you hire is subpar to what we're going to do in all areas, whether we're finishing on time, we're showing up when we're going to show up, we're doing this, you don't like that, we're changing that over, we're doing this, we're not doing certain things for free, we're not coming down on the price, we are everything that you need to fulfill the dream of this room addition or this house that you need built. All of that is in your head, confident wise, because like you said, you're not being humble because you know that there is no other contractor they can hire that's going to do what you're going to do. 100%.
And you're ethically
that's it, right?
obligated. You're ethically obligated to close that deal because you know that no other person is going to be able to serve them like you can.
Exactly.
If forget believing in yourself, if you
Yeah.
know yourself, you have a duty to close that sale, because
Yeah.
otherwise they're going to get screwed and they're going to get a horrible, they're going to get screwed.
Yeah.
And, the thing is, it's like,
and that's what, let me just stop you. It's like, and that's that whole, if you didn't piss them off, if you didn't get a check, then you didn't go far enough. That's the whole thing. Because if you whine and bitch, like you just said, and cry and like, oh, I'm leaving, I'm out of here. But like,
yeah,
then if you don't do the job, you walk away and let them hire someone else, you did them a disservice, because no one in town is going to do what you could have done for them. You've got to know it, man. It's got to be in your core that, man, these people, I got to do something. I'm not saying something right. I'm not doing, like, these people want a room addition. These people want to build their house. They want this. Like, there's nobody that's going to do what we're doing. And somehow you got the certainty. You just need to convey the certainty to them. Somehow you need to, bridge that gap.
Well, studies have been shown time and time again, man, and I'd have to go pull the sources, but it's been shown that the main driving factor between that, a client or a consumer purchases something is rarely, if ever, like, the main reason why they purchase is price, right? Obviously some things are different, but when it comes to higher ticket closings, anything above $5,000 is high ticket. The major deciding factor for them purchasing that high ticket item or service is not the price. It's like they're looking at you like, man, I don't trust you. Or, I don't like you, or I don't like your product. Right.
Yeah.
And it's true, man. I mean, you think about it. The bottom line is this, Brian, we're all like this too. Like, even me and you, we are consumers as well. And so we have to get inside our prospect's mind, and we have to understand that when the prospect calls you, they're already scared of you. They're scared of getting screwed over. They're scared of getting ripped off. They're scared of getting taken advantage of and taken for a ride. And they're lying to you. Every time a prospect opens their mouth to you, whether it's about what they really want, how much they really want to pay, it's all bullshit. They're lying to you because they want to get a great deal. We are psychologically driven to get a better deal on everything we do. It's like, why wouldn't you? Right.
Yeah.
But you, as the person making the sale or closing the sale, you have to understand and get inside their head and realize it's okay. Like I get it. I know they're lying. I have to not take it personal and get all huffy puffy and storm off because I got a little adversity from this person. I mean, it's like, dude, it's pitch made. It's weak. It's weak.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's when you start comparison shopping and prices and stuff. I'm telling you guys, like, well, they're getting a room addition. It's like, okay, they're not getting, if you're not doing it, they're not getting the same room at the end of the day, because of who you are as a contractor, of showing up, of answering the phone, of your guys showing up, of coming back, doing the touch-ups, using the best, all of that stuff. There's no, if someone's better than you, go work for them.
Yeah.
But if you're the best, you've got to be able to convey that to them. And there's like, and the price may be different, but they're not buying the same freaking thing. They're not, and everybody wants to use, you're buying, you're paying for a Ferrari or you're paying for a Volkswagen. I mean, that's kind of it. But you should be the Ferrari, or be the freaking Volkswagen and just know your limits, know who, know your clientele. But you've got to know in your head, it's like, if you're not the best at what you do, you either got to become the best or go work for the best.
Yeah.
And let that company do the best, for that client.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, but it goes back to too, is it all comes back down to like, there's a lot of female contractors and they seem to be able to, I don't know, talk to the homeowner maybe a little bit better, or like, because the guys, egos get in the way. I don't.
Well, the thing about it is, Brian, and you know this from all your years in the trades, like when we're working with clients in their homes, we're not working for the husband, we're working for the wife. Right?
Yeah, 100%.
And when the females get to talking, the guys go to the other room and we, it's like, we got tools, and that's the reality of the situation, So,
it is. And even when it's two gay guys, one of them is,
women contractors really excel in that area.
Yeah. They're able to communicate, but it's always the female. Even when it's two gay guys, one of them's the female, and like that's the one that's making all the decisions, and it just, and you kind of gotta, but it's, I don't know if you're not catering to it, but it's just that's where you're going to find out like what the end result is, and that's the whole thing. Is if you know what their end result is, that's the only way you're able to sell them what it is that they want.
If I can go in what would this look like when it's finished? What would it look like? What's that experience like? And then how does it make you feel? Right.
Yeah.
Talk about those things with your prospects. And the minute you start asking those questions is the minute you stop talking about how awesome you think you are, and you enter them, and you enter their world where they are. And it's just like, and I see that all the time. Like even when I started my business, I pretended to be a homeowner. Right. And I started calling around all these other contractor companies. And I just was like, I want to get this done. I want to get that done. And I swear to God, every single one of them, they just would not shut up about how awesome they are. Like, man, like it's so easy to, like, it's not even competition, dude.
It isn't. It's we call it ghost, but even on the in the Facebook groups, and they're asking about, what do you charge? I'm like, well, every area is different or something. I said, but get on the effing call, call 5 people, go to Google and search your service and call 5 or 10 of those companies and act like a homeowner and ask them. And see what they're charging. Don't ask us. Some dude in New Zealand telling you in New York what he's charging in New Zealand doesn't do you any good. Find out what the 10 contractors in New York or in your area, what they're charging. Man, like 2001, when I entered the speaking world, we did that. There was no internet. Everything was, you mailed out and all this other stuff. But there was a couple of, there was one website called, actually it's where I met Bob, with Speaker Match or something. But event planners would go there and they would post that they had an event coming up and they were looking for a speaker, a trainer on sales or leadership or market or something. And so I was like, man, what are all these other speakers, man? How are they answering these ads? What are they doing? So we ran our own freaking ad and say, hey, we got an event coming up. We're looking for this, and this. And then, 200 people responded to us. We found out how they called back, who called. Was it the speaker himself, or did he have, a management team calling for him? Did he have someone in the office calling, fielding it, asking the questions? Some people were just sending out these packages with envelopes and VHS and DVDs and brochures and all of this. So, I mean, we had over 200 people responding to us. And so we and then I just took whatever they were doing and did it better. And
modeled it. You modeled it.
And we had a group, like my wife and like 2 or 3 other people sit around going, okay, well, this person responded like this. Did you like that? What about this one? What about that? They sent this, they're like, we were doing the videos way back when. And I was like, man, all the videos that they were sending were like, they were all shit. I was like, no, nobody's going to watch this for more than a couple of seconds. So the video had to start off with like the first thing, all you heard was the audience laughing. So that you were like, shit, do I need to rewind that? I missed something. What the heck? Because all you heard was the audience laughing. You felt like you missed something. You're like, oh shit. Well, there's nothing to rewind. But then it got you. I had them from the beginning. They put in a DVD, and the first thing they hear is the audience laughing. You're like, oh shit, I missed something. So now they're listening. Like, what? And then the next one, it would be right off. They would get the joke, and then everybody would laugh. And then I would go into the content, and then a laugh, and then the content. And that sold more than anything. It was like, oh shit, if nothing else, we're going to bring him in. We're going to be entertained. And the stuff, he's making us laugh, but at the same time, he's slipping in some good knowledge that we can use. And then I had the video testimonials. Even way back then, we were doing video testimonials from Blue Cross Blue Shield, NASA, all of it. And it would pop up right in the middle of a joke that I was getting ready to tell. So, hey, before I finish this joke, I want you to meet Anthony. He was just at one of our events. He's actually brought us in. What'd you think? Boom. And then all of that stuff. But we learned all of that because I wanted to see what other people were doing. I tell guys, even in the construction trade, I said, it doesn't matter what business it is. Someone's already doing it. You're not this rocket science coming up with all this new bullshit. It just ain't, go figure out what they're doing, what works, and then do it better. And no matter what the business
seek
is,
out
no matter
seek
what
out
the trade
somebody
is.
who's doing what you want to do better than you, and go figure out how
Yeah.
to either ask them how to do it or infiltrate their system and figure it out for yourself and take some notes.
Yeah, it ain't rocket science. That's what kills me. You two have any advice on expanding into a new city? Shit. Anthony's expanding into new states. I'm in a rural town killing it, and I want to break into a new metro area. Go ahead, Anthony, and then I'll say something.
So the way I would approach this one, Steve, is first of all, I mean, I'm going to ask you an open-ended question, and I'm just going to preface it with the fact that I'm trying to figure something out here so that I can give you the right answer. What is the biggest challenge you're facing right now with why you're not able to do it now? Like, what is stopping you? There's one thing that's overglaring beyond anything else, that when you think about going to a new city, you're just like, oh man, but what is that thing? Once I understand that, then I can answer your question. So.
And I'm going to answer it like this. Do what Anthony did. He's in Boise. Outside of Boise, there's a beautiful mountain resort called McCall, hour and a half, 2 hours away, with multi-million-dollar, resorts and cabins and houses. And Anthony's like, well, shit, there's money up there. I want some of it. So what did Anthony do? He ran ads, Google ads up there so people could see him. They're up there. They're not in Boise. So if they're up there searching Google for someone to add on a room or build a cabin, they're not going to find an ad in Boise. So Anthony was smart enough to run the ads up there. They click it. They see his fantastic website. They see his videos. They see him talking shit, being the guy who he is. And now they get to see his truck.
So I've actually, that client, we're building a 4,000 square foot home up there right now. Well, we're getting ready to. Yes, you need a more bitchin' website. Everybody needs a more bitchin' website. Trust me. Your website might be bitchin', but it's not. It needs to be more bitching. It's not moving to new cities bitching, right? But no, man. So like these people, they followed me on TikTok too. They're like, "Oh yeah, we found you on TikTok. We love you." It's like great. Yeah. But the thing is, like, ultimately, Steven, I mean, that's what I did. Is I dropped a pin on Google up in McCall, and I ran ads, right? And the big thing was, the key part to take away from this though is I spent a lot of money. Yeah. I spent a lot of money and time before that came to fruition. Yeah. And I mean, that's the bottom line.
But now that you're in that area, I mean, that's gold. I mean, that's gold. And for me, it's like, I don't know, I can expand someone's Google business so that you show up in maps. I can expand that pretty far. But to go from, like, I'm here in LA, Orange County, but if I was going to be in Palm Springs, that's too far. I wouldn't be able to expand it there. So I would open a location in Palm Springs just so I can have that Google business listing on maps in that area. Whether I have to rent a place, whether I have to find another something. But I need that address in Palm Springs so I can be in the top 3 of Google Maps. And then I'm going to run ads. But I'm going to show up in Google Maps first, wherever I want to be.
The one thing I would say though, man, ultimately is if you're going to start moving and expanding into, bigger other areas, make sure that your systems and processes are on point, because even when they are on point, you are 100, 200, 300 miles away from this place. And people, you got to have oversight of systems and processes, not the people, the systems. The systems, if you oversee the systems and processes and you understand what results they produce and why, then you ultimately will manage those, which will then in turn manage the people, right?
Yeah.
But if you have leaks in your systems here, don't try and take it outside of where you can reach.
Fix them here, because it's a lot easier to fix local than it is at a distance. And you can hire the best project managers, the best sales guys. You can hire the best people in the world, but if you give them a shitty system to follow, you're gonna get shitty results.
Just like you always said, dude, when we were getting together years ago, you're like, look, man, Google ain't the same anymore. They don't care about how many people come to your website. They care about how long they stay, right? And if you're running ads, it's like, I don't even want to run ads for people who want to fucking put them through a shitty website.
No,
because then you're just going to come complain to me about how it's not working.
Yeah,
you know?
I wouldn't even run them. If we didn't build the website, I wouldn't even run the ads.
Yeah.
Or I tell them, say, hey, you can have someone else build it, but it's got to be like this. Boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
And then by the
Key
time they go
ingredient.
to and by the time they go to someone to get it like that, it's 10 times what we would have charged them to begin with. No, I wouldn't do virtual to get on Google Maps and make sure that I'm there. I'm going to rent a spot because I don't want to piss Google off. I may even rent a spot like from a hair salon or something. Somebody, you got to have that location.
What I did, Brian, was in Washington and Oregon, you have to do what's called a registered agent.
Yeah.
And so like if basically that becomes your for all intents and purposes your office, so to speak, right? You pay them, it's like $300 a year. They receive all the mail, and it's almost like an automated PO box.
Mm-hmm.
And so in most states that I've seen, you at least have to do that. Even in Idaho, I have to have a registered agent. I just happen to be the registered agent here, but abroad, as a foreign entity is what it's called. I have to have registered agents in those states.
Yeah.
That way I can't just run into that state, cause a whole bunch of havoc, and then run off into the sunset. Yeah.
So it is. It's and that's the thing that you're really, and again, that's like I talked about earlier, is like you're in the trenches, you're doing it. Because I keep telling these guys, it's like, dude, man, once it's working right here, and you got all the systems and everything, like guys tell me all the time, is like, man, I'm gonna leave New Jersey, I'm moving down to Florida, whatever it is. It's like I'm like, once you have it, you can move anywhere.
Yep.
And you can start, you get Google's map showing up, you run the ads, and you don't have to have the Google Maps. You can just run the ads. You don't have to pay unless they click, but they go to the website, but you can just, you can start running ads before you even move over to that area. And that's it. Get their phone numbers, like, because we buy, I don't know, I probably buy like 8 or 9 different phone numbers for every client that we work with, because I'm tracking, what's working. And we're doing the transcripts, and we're recording all the calls. But I know if the phone call came from Google or the website or this or that. But so it has the right area code. It has the everything. So it just looks like they're calling wherever the heck you're at. And they should be. But it's like you can set it all up before you even move over there and start having work lined up before you get there. Or like you're driving an hour and a half. Now it sounds like you're getting ready to rent an apartment up there so you can be there. And these people haven't seen it. I'm telling you, Google McCall, Idaho. I don't know if there's a prettier place on the planet. There's no reason not to want to be there, winter, spring, or fall. I mean, the snow you may get during the winter, but if you're a snow skier, you love that. It's like one of the best places in the world.
Yeah, it's an amazing place. I'd say the only other place more beautiful is Coeur d'Alene, but McCall is quickly turning into a very large tourist trap. It's going to start expanding with the rest of the state really quickly. And even though we're up there doing custom home builds and stuff like that, I got the custom home builds just through our regular ads that I dropped a pin up there, right, on the map. But right now what I'm doing is I've refined those ads down to just specifically kitchens and bathrooms.
Yeah.
Because I know that all of those Airbnbs up there, they're all needing updated. I know for a fact that it's hard to get contractors to even answer the phone up there.
Yeah.
And it's like you call a contractor, a local contractor in McCall, and you're going to wait 2 years.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Where I'm just like, I'll bring people up now.
Yeah.
Especially it's going to cost you a little bit more, but I'll do it.
Yeah. But they don't care. They got the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so
that's going to be because I can do that kitchen and bath year round. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean,
you're inside. Tough. You don't have to worry about the snow and the ice with the framing and the roof getting on top and the deliveries.
It's tough. It's tough to excavate and pour a foundation in 4 feet of snow. For sure.
Yeah, but the kitchen and bath is like, man, because I've done some mountain resorts, and even in the winter, it's like, man, you're sitting inside either installing the floor or refinishing the floor. You're looking out the window and the big flakes are falling down. And it's almost like a a work/vacation. I don't know.
It's very similar. It's very similar to your place there in California, Big Bear. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's very
Mammoth is
similar to that.
it's closer to like Mammoth and Tahoe. It's like if you look up Tahoe, that's another one of the most beautiful places in the world. And the money that's in those places that are on the lake or even outside of the lake. There's nothing cheap in Lake Tahoe. But in the whole mountain resort areas is most people who have places up there have the money. So when you're talking about, I can come up with some guys, and I ain't talking bad about anybody that lives in the mountains, but because I do have a place in Big Bear, if you live in Big Bear, if you live in the mountain for whatever reason, because construction guys have a bad rap already. I mean, it's like, oh, you're in construction, you smoke, you drink, you don't show up, you're this, you got the ass crack showing, you got this, like, and we've done it to ourselves because, like you say, there's some truth to conspiracies. So when you're living in the mountains and doing construction, you can multiply all the bad shit by 10. So when they hear, hey, I'm down here in the on the flatland, but I'm willing to get some of my great guys and come up there. They're like, oh my God, thank you. No one will, how much more? Yeah, that's okay. Just, we know we can trust you guys. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's like we do it to ourselves. The guys in construction do it to ourselves. It's so easy to be successful in construction because there's so many of us that are flakes.
Yeah.
They're not following through. They're not answering the calls. They're not calling back. They're not, when they do call and talk, they can't hold a conversation. I'm a Toastmaster guy, not for speaking. In the speaking world, if you mention you're in Toastmasters, you lose more gigs than you get. But in the world of communication, I believe every contractor should join Toastmasters just so they can learn how to speak a little bit more properly to homeowners. Sales, something. But we come across as just, dumbasses or something. And then when we don't call back and we don't finish when we say we're going to finish, and we got every excuse in the book, or you show up for an hour and a half one day and then you leave, and then you show up 2 days later because you just need to make an appearance and then go over here and get this other job because we all know the games that contractors play. And all it does is, make the reputation, true, to where when you show up, when you say you're going to show up, you answer the phone, you get finished when you say you're going to get finished, you get finished a day early, you walk, all of that stuff. It just, then that whole word of mouth marketing really works. But it's you kind of got to get there, but you're shooting yourself in the foot, and construction guys do it to themselves. And you're the GC, so you really get the bad rap, Anthony.
Yeah, well, that shit rolls uphill all the damn time to me, man. It always comes to my lap. But you're right, though, man. You're right, though, Brian. Because I mean, the truth is, 98% of people are barely pushing average, and you don't even have to try that much harder to do something great or outdo. It's not hard to beat your competition. All you got to do is just answer the damn phone.
Yeah,
I mean, most of them aren't even doing that.
Nope. Yeah, and show up when how many homeowners have told you, like, so-and-so said they're going to be here, they didn't even show up, they didn't even call. It's like, it's mind-boggling to me. It just, but then they've all got the excuses of, why life sucks, why the kids act crazy, why the wife don't want anything to do with them, like all of it. The guys I grew up with in construction, we'd be cleaning up at 2:00, we'd be out of there by 2:30, they'd be at happy hour by 3:30. And wouldn't leave until 7. And none of them, that's all they wanted. And, I wanted more. And just, and now they look, years later, they looked at me as if I was lucky. And I was like, bitch, ain't nothing luck about it. You spent all the time at happy hour. I was doing something different.
It's strange about luck. The harder you work, the luckier you get. It's weird.
So, all right, guys. Hour and 20 minutes. Any last words before we get out of here, Anthony? Monday next week. Monday, hopefully you can. Is it Monday, Anthony?
Is that when you're having that guy on?
Yeah, man.
What's his name?
Shit, I don't know. Walt. His name personally is Walt.
Send me a link to him. I want to check him out before we go on with him.
All right, and so here's his thing. Like, here's one of his things was something, the initial investment, quick return, high turnaround, high margin reviews, and a step-by-step blueprint, making our partnership extremely attractive. No employees,
Our
no
partnership.
showroom. Yeah. No employees, no showroom, no equipment, no inventory, no setup, no setup fees, no locking in contracts, everything. I mean, it's like,
I'm certain that I'm certain of two things, Brian. I'm certain that he is under promising and that he's a really cool guy.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'll send you the link, but it's a 1-day refinishing model. Yeah.
All right.
That was a one day refinishing. I'll find a link and you can read it, and you may read it and go, oh shit, and sign up yourself.
We'll see.
hand over the credit card.
Yeah. Shut up and take my money.
Yeah. It's like, where do I sign? I was like, but I mean, honestly, I wish he would show up and go, damn, yeah, we all gonna sign up. We all gonna be rich. We're gonna. Yeah,
that'd be fun actually to start having some of these marketers on here, like these guys who promise all this shit, you know.
Yeah, and he says,
I'm sure one of them actually is a cool guy though.
Yeah, I'm sure they're all cool.
Yeah.
It's like, and I don't know if I'm just reading, we'll find out. It sounds like he was in the trades and he did something. I don't know, but who knows?
At least he was actually in the trades. Maybe
we know of a guy. I think we met in his group, and he was in the trades for a very small amount of time. So I don't think he was successful in the trade, but now he teaches people how to be successful in the trade.
Yeah. Interesting how that works, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of that going on.
So it's like, yeah, a whole lot. All right, guys. Hey, Charlie, I'll text you his name. Charlie probably seen it, and I'm surprised Steven didn't see the post in the floor groups where I posted it. So, all right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. For sure, Monday. Have a great weekend. I'm playing golf tomorrow. It'll be fun. Hopefully, he shows up. If he doesn't show up, I am going to screenshot everything on his freaking website. And he said he did see it. Yeah. So if he doesn't show up, we will share the screen and go to his website and read all the fantastic stuff that he offers. And he's got some video testimonials, and they're worth watching. Oof, they're worth watching.
I'll check it out.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you Monday.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody, and hit them good tomorrow, Brian.
All right. Yes, sir. Thank you.